Good day, good
Hello.
evening, good morning. Hello! Welcome to Warm Cozy Quilting. I'm Jason. That's where you insert your name
Victoria.
here. Victoria.
I had just taken a sip.
Also known as Dr. Pepper, apparently this morning. Happy Saturday.
Woo.
You made it. High five.
Thanks.
Nicely done.
It was a long
Congratulations.
week.
It did feel like the longest week in the known existence of mankind.
I also have like 5 weeks left of school
Yeah.
total. So every week feels like it's dragging.
You got short timers. I'm going to scoot you over just a little bit more. Because
yeah.
I am half off the camera.
Oh, well.
This is my show.
Oh.
Back off.
Sorry.
Anyway, so Danielle's got her 100 block class this morning. So therefore, you're here with us.
Woo.
We're going to have a fun, exciting morning. Jazz hands. Jazz hands?
Sorry. I missed the cue.
It's always jazz hands.
Oh.
There's no cue. It's always.
Oh.
Always.
There's usually a cue.
So behind the camera today, we have running the camera Miss Sadie. Hello, Sadie.
Hi.
Thank you for saying hi. They usually think I'm making it up, I think.
Do they?
I don't know. I've never asked anybody.
You should ask them before making assumptions like that.
This is the internet. I don't trust anything.
Oh, great.
Anyway, so if you're out there and you're watching, say hello. We go through and say hi to everybody because that's our Saturday morning routine. Has been since April of 2020. So I like to go through scripts occasionally and see what information I may have missed or what information could be revisited. And I was sitting there last night going through scripts and realized that this has been happening for 4 years.
That's crazy.
We have been doing Saturday morning coffee for 4 years.
I was 14 when we started.
4 years.
I was a completely different human.
We should have had a party for this.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. Sudden last minute thoughts. And some of you have been here since day one. And day one, there was like 3 people.
You 3 are the real ones.
You 3. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so yeah. So today we're going to actually talk about some ways to plan your quilt if you're going to start doing some quilting, whether you're on the long arm or you're domestic, some really good ideas and suggestions. I got some demonstration materials here we're going to use. We're actually going to do this on camera. It's going to be fantastic. But in the meantime, let's say hi to our friends out there in the internet Facebook world, also on the YouTube world. Over here we've got Good Morning 2.0. Nice to see you on. It's sunny out there. That's good to know. It's sunny here too. Did you know that?
I did.
I walked outside this morning and the sun was in my eyes.
And there was sun, and it was bright. And I didn't have sunglasses in my car.
It's unfortunate.
So it sucked.
No good. Good morning, Jackie in the Indiana. Cold. It's kind of chilly here this morning, but I think they're calling for like 70s by tomorrow. Like, it's going to be fantastic.
Keep up.
Can't. Good morning, Sandy. Hello. And good morning, Alvina. Good morning, Patty. Nice to see you on. We're scrolling because the internet is awesome. Good morning, Pamela Shores down in Alabama. Sadie, Pam said hi.
Hi, Pam.
We got Diane hanging out watching us. That's cool. Love that. We got Julie. Man, I am realizing that we have people at just that very small amount of time in like 5 different states.
Whoa.
That is exciting.
That's cool.
And that doesn't include Illinois, Missouri.
Oh.
So that's super exciting. I love it. Dolores representing Southern Illinois. Yeah. Love it. Thank you so much, Dolores. Glad to see you on. Good morning, Carol. Carol just did a class yesterday.
Really?
Here. Yeah, it was a hand quilting class.
I missed it?
I missed it.
Why'd you schedule it on a Friday?
Didn't matter. Everybody sold out all the seats before you even had a chance. It was a popular class. We'll have to redo that one.
I'm getting a day out of school.
I'm kind of excited about it, honestly. So, let's see here.
It is coming up again in the end of May.
Oh, has it been scheduled for another one for the end of May? Is it on the website? Ooh, hand quilting class, end of May with Carol. You should, if you haven't signed up for it yet, what are you waiting for? Go, I'll wait.
Run.
You're not going to miss anything. Go ahead. I'm kidding. Hold on. Don't stay there. A lot of confusing information there. Oh, good Lord. What do we see here? Great topic today. Yes, it's going to be a good topic. Good morning, Linda. Nice to see you. And hello, Vicky. She's over watching on the YouTubes. Love that. Joanne, again, Southern Illinois. Love that. There's Dana. And we got Jane, Arizona. Yes. That's all over the board.
All of the coasts. All of the different sides. Oh.
You don't have any of the coasts.
Not a one.
Well, oh no, Alabama is on a coast, I guess.
Well, it actually is. It does have a.
So
it's on the
then
Gulf.
I was right.
It does have a Gulf border.
Yeah.
Honey,
So we've got our
We're talking
coast.
about
I love you. It's kind
We've
of
got one from all of the sides. Okay,
north,
nobody's
south, east, and west. Yes, but coast, no. Oh, it's too late for. We can't geography right now.
Nope.
And there we got Leslie hanging out in West Virginia. Nice. Actually, that might be a new one. I don't know if I've had West Virginian yet. Congratulations for being number one. High five. Let's see here. Linda says she doesn't think she needs a hand quilting class.
Oh, Linda. Yeah,
Yep.
I was thinking which
No.
Linda. I've read further.
Yeah, no,
thought about
yeah,
it a little harder.
She doesn't need that.
No,
she's
she's
good.
probably good.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Good to see you on it as well. That's fantastic. And then we got Sandy over here on the YouTube. What's this? Switch YouTube. Facebook's not playing nice. Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
So don't forget, Saturday mornings, we do stream both to Facebook and to YouTube, so that way you can watch either or place. You're over on the YouTube, do me a favor, hit that share button or that subscribe button. It's free, and it's a great way to support us.
We should
and
get
it
you a
doesn't
little
cost anything.
graphic.
We should. I need a little pop-up graphic.
Yeah.
Sadie, could you please go ahead and
Yeah,
make one of
I'll
those for me? That'd be
Work
awesome.
on that.
With the little hand that comes over and kind of does the thing.
Should make a little noise too. A little.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work for Sadie.
It is a lot of work.
That's
for
okay.
Sadie.
She can handle it.
It's okay. She's paid by the hour.
Also, if you're sitting here on the Facebook side watching us and you're enjoying this because this is fun and we're going to have some great information, hit the share button. Go ahead. It's going to take you 2 seconds. It's not going to cost you anything. Your friends are going to love you for it because they introduced us to you by you, and they'll be great. And also, thank you again and again. Okay. Anyway, so it's April.
It is.
Did you know this?
I am aware. I've been made aware.
April. Like, we are already into month 4 of this year.
That's
Insanity.
usually how time works.
Because of that, there's some things that have wrapped up. I need to make sure you guys know that it's over, so don't come in trying to shop hop because it's April. The St. Louis Metro Shop Hop was in March, and it was a fantastic time.
That's fun.
I actually say, is there any chance you have a written version of the name of the winners from the Shop Hop? Because I was going to call them out on video. I just realized I didn't have that, and I want to do that because congratulations to everybody that participated. There were door prizes at each shop. I think we had, it was around 400 or so completed passports, not to mention all the people that actually participated. So it was pretty awesome. So we want to say congratulations to Terry Amsden for winning the Janome 3160 sewing machine. Awesome little machine.
That's an
I'm
awesome
so happy
machine.
for her. Congratulations to her. Then each of the 6 shops that were participating had a $100 gift card. And those winners of the gift cards were Brenda Knight, Susan Price, Christy Nearing, Gail Torina, and Sarah Perry. Oh, I forgot. There's one more. Terry Willette. All you want a $100 gift card. If you know this person, say congratulations to them. If you don't know them, say congratulations to them also. And get yourself ready for the next year Shop Hop because Shop Hop.
It's gonna be lit.
It's always lit. I love it.
So cool.
And then, oh yeah, we had the M17 event. We had several people come in for that. It was
That was
fantastic.
fun. Yeah.
Enjoyed the M17 event. Huge thank you to Chris Dolinar. I don't know if I mispronounced her name or not, her last name, but her name is Chris. She's an awesome Janome educator. She did an amazing job showing off the M17s. Everybody that made a bag loved the process.
It was
Yeah.
such a cute bag too.
It was a cute little bag.
It was
I didn't make one. I don't really need a bag.
I do.
But if you are in the market for a fantastic new machine, the M17 is a combination machine. I do have a couple demo models left over from the event. You all know what demo models mean. Demo models mean good pricing. Come see me. Because I really don't want to hold on to them anymore. I want them to go to a new home and actually be used. So come in. So, what we got?
But I will ask you about it later.
Yeah, it's good. Good
Yeah.
call. So Pamela shared, thank you, and Laura shared, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Pamela's waiting on her last 2 10 box. Oh, it's a sad day because the 2 10 box subscription box has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you to Sadie for coming up the colored coordinating pictures that go with all those fabrics. Thank you to all of you that participated, and you're all wondering what's next.
I am wondering what's next.
Danielle has alluded to it a couple times. We are going to do another subscription box. We are pretty certain that it's going to be a Stonehenge situation, which is even more exciting. We have some finer details we need to work out. So I would say within the next week or so, we're going to be putting it out for, signups. So I'm going to strongly encourage you to keep your ear open for that. And actually, because it was so much fun, we may even look more into other lines so we don't have pauses in subscriptions ever again. We'll see how it goes. But keep an ear open for that. You ready for that?
I am so
Good, you
ready for
should
that.
be. And yeah, you gotta love paintbrush solids. They're just fantastic. I love them.
Wonderful.
All right. Sounds like Sadie's got to say something at me. Yes, ma'am.
For all of our 210 friends,
Okay.
their special pricing on solids ends at the end of the month. So
Oh.
they need to use this month to stock up on solids.
If you didn't hear, I'll reiterate for you. If you did the 210 subscription, part of being in the 210 subscription was that you got special pricing on yardage of the solids during this promotion or during the subscription period. Well, April is the end of that. So if you need to stock up on your solids at your promotional price, you have your little code that you have for checkout, or you're coming to the store, get your special pricing on those solids because those are not a normal in-store price ever. End of month. Get your solids. Cool. All right.
Ooh,
You ready to go through some things?
I am.
Okay. So
This I do for fun, so I'm excited
This
about
is-
this topic.
this is definitely for those of you that are drawers, doodlers, things of the sort. This part of it is easy for you. Just coming up with an idea and how to use it can be a little bit tougher for some of us that don't fancy ourselves to be creative or like to draw or not really good at this. So I don't know what to do. So for us, I'm included in that conversation. We get to practice.
Woo!
So much practicing. That is going to be the biggest key to becoming anywhere decent with free motion quilting. And I say that, let me rephrase that. To get to a point where we are accepting of what we've done
God.
is with practice.
Mhm.
The fact of the matter is, everybody's different in how they do theirs and how it looks. And realistically, once you finish a quilt, what are you going to do with that quilt?
Never gonna look at that quilting that closely ever again.
Well, more specifically,
Oh.
you're going to give it to somebody.
Probably
so you're
that,
certainly
too.
not going to look that close at it. And number two, that person that's getting that quilt, guess what they don't do probably?
Look that closely at it.
They don't quilt, so they have no idea what they're looking at. So any bobbles, mistakes, imperfections that we make in this process, they don't care. And if you give it to somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, what is this? You take it away. You say, we'll try again in 6 months, sweetheart. And then you just don't give them whatever again. 6 months or not.
Nope.
Does that sound fair? Is that?
Yeah.
I think it's a fair
Yeah.
assessment.
I think so.
right? Yeah. Okay, so first thing and foremost thing, my personal recommendation to you is get yourself one of these. That
I
shows up
think
as a
so.
black piece of paper. It's actually a notepad, right? This lovely little guy here is going to be your best friend
Yep.
because we can't stand in front of our machines and practice all the time.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes
You'll run out of fabric
we run out of fabric and thread
and thread.
and
Patience.
and patience and all the things.
Mhm.
So we want to be able to doodle these things out. Get a notepad. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to doodle in scale as to what you're going to quilt, but you want to have something that you can have next to your comfy chair, you know, something you can easily grab.
While you're watching TV, it doesn't have to be you're setting time aside to plan out your whole quilt.
Right.
When you're doodling like this, you want to be able to do it consistently, which means you should be able to do it mindlessly.
Mindlessly. So, have you ever sat in a car as a passenger going somewhere?
Nope.
She hasn't. She's actually always been the driver. Always. Get yourself
As
a
a
pin.
baby, drove herself home from the
Baby the
hospital.
baby. She's like, I got it. It was the most terrifying day of my life. So, you're going to get yourself a notepad. You're going to get yourself a pen. I recommend a decent, comfortable pen. You know, big pens are fine, but let's be honest. There's more comfortable things out there in your life. And you're going to just do some doodling, right? And you're going to practice. See that? That's a quilted design.
Mhm.
It's waiting to happen.
It's called stippling.
Sort of.
Nope. Wait,
is.
is that the right word? Yes,
is.
it is.
It's stippling. The cool thing is that you can set aside a design that you really want to practice,
Mhm.
and then you can work on that in your book all day, every day, and then take it to your machine, and your brain says, I know how to do that.
Can I do my favorite?
Yeah, here, go ahead.
Yes.
It'll be fun. Okay. So, again, you're going to, what do you make in there? Do you know what that's called?
Nope. I just do it in my homework.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, Miss Bradhop is really tired of seeing it, actually. I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
Sorry, Miss Bradhop.
I'm going to let you guys tell me what it's called here in a moment. I think that should be enough. Go ahead and show it to them. Let's see if they know what that is.
Can
Ooh.
you see it? Oh,
Cover your face. Camera likes to look at human faces. I don't know if you guys can see that. So basically what it is a little bit of arcing curves. Oh, I just covered it with my hand. Other side. Arcing curves that kind of radiate out and kind of build on that. It makes a really good fill. Anybody? Any guesses? I'm going to give them a second because we're on a delay, like a 10-second delay. So this one is a great filler. You can do this in very small scale. You can do it in a large scale. It just adds a lot of movement to your background.
It's great for if you have a quilt that's got like a lot of leaves or flowers or like stuff like that. I find that that's usually what I'm using it in.
Right.
Is to give it that, what's the word I'm looking for? Natural
movement.
Flow.
No guesses. None. Not a single guess. Come on, guys. Okay.
I don't even know
I'm going to say it, and as soon as I say it, somebody's going to be like, oh, and there it is. It's actually what we refer to as a paisley.
Oh!
The way it builds out. This is what most people refer to it as in the journal quilting world, but that's okay. So let's say you've practiced, and you're still not comfortable with your practicing skills. What else can you do? Practice in larger scale. Woo! But Jason, what do I practice? Well, let's go and let me draw you some stuff. Miss Sadie, if you would. I'm going to do an overhead camera shot for you here. So here's my whiteboard. So you have a couple different things. My personal favorite is the wandering loop thing. It's like a stipple, except I'm throwing in a loop here and there. And I'm just kind of filling things in. That squeaking of the marker is kind of obnoxious. Did you know that? It kind of is. Okay. But what's neat about this design is that while I'm doing this, I can throw in a different shape. So maybe I want little hearts in there. Or Victoria's done this where she's thrown in little leaves.
Oh, that's my favorite. I love doing that.
Right?
I do it on quilts all the time.
Makes a great edge-to-edge design. Because it covers nicely. It gives you the control and the feature to be able to, make things work really well. Right? So, practicing this, my brain wants to loop, always. It doesn't matter if I'm trying to do straight lines. It's even then it's like, oh, let's loop. No, please stop. Please stop.
No need to loop always.
We don't need always be looping. There's no need for that. Okay? So, again, take that, practice that out. Super helpful. The other one, and this is the one I kind of doodled here for a second. I'm going to throw that at you.
Okay.
Careful. So this is a stipple. Now, the point of the stipple is that you're just kind of doing a whichever direction line you want, trying to keep that spacing between your lines consistent. Now, the one thing that I hear a lot when I start talking about this with customers is that, well, you can't cross over the line. Okay? Here's the thing. If you're going for visual appearance and you want to try your best, going over the line with a stipple is what you're trying to avoid.
Right.
Which is also why I like the loop one.
Yeah.
Because I cross over the line, so it doesn't matter. But I have a really cool secret for you with this. As I'm doing this, and I'm doing my stipples, I'm wandering around. You know what happens if I run over my line?
It's just another one. It's just another stipple.
Yeah. You know what happens? Nothing explodes.
Nope.
There's no fire.
Nope.
There's no alarm?
There's no alarm. Shauna Decky is not hanging outside with her SWAT team coming in to stop you from going over the line. There's no quilt police. So if you're still sewing along and you accidentally cross over that line, guess what?
It still looks
totally cool. Because again, you're going to hand that quilt to somebody who's going to be like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. And you're going to have to worry more about them taking it and hiding it in the closet so it doesn't get ruined.
Or letting the dog lay on it.
Well, that's their call. They can do what they will with it.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
But stipple, love it. It's an easy one. It's a nice practice. Do your thing with that, right? The other one that I like to practice, and I just kind of showed you here, is called the L's and E's.
I love the L's and E's.
L's and E's are great for borders. So basically, a majority of us know cursive. Enjoy this while you can. What we're going to do here is you're just going to make a lowercase e or a capital or a lowercase L. And that gives us this nice loopy fashion. You can do a bunch of L's if you want. The little e's just kind of help break that up, right? The key to this, consistency. And if you have to draw yourself a line, kind of like we did back in grade school where you had the 3 lines, and you want to make sure that you hit that every time, That's going to help make things more consistent for you. Okay? So yeah, you thought you got out of grade school and you didn't have to do this anymore. You got into quilting. Welcome to the L's and E's. The cool thing about these is that if you flip this, I'm going to erase this for a moment. Hopefully you got all your ideas you could from that. I've never been good at this, but I'm going to try it anyway.
You can do it.
I can do it, mostly. So let's get crazy. This is where practice comes in. You make your L, make your E, your L, your E. Think I'm going to come out, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to go the other way. Oh, upside down is not my friend.
Ta-da!
Sashing little border cornerstone thing. Yeah, L's and E's. Just turn them upside down and go the other way. It's tough. It takes a lot of practice. Clearly, I'm not good at it. But it's okay. It's all about practicing, right? The more you do it, the more you put the effort in before you go to your quilt, the less frustrating it's going to be when you're actually working on it.
This is fact.
This is absolute fact, okay? So your brain gets it here on the paper. It gets it on the whiteboard. Wherever you're at practicing, completely worth the effort, right? So that's one way to do that. The next way, and this is one of my more personal favorite ways, I've got my quilt here. Okay, cool, Jason. I've played, I've practiced. I don't know what I'm going to actually do on my quilt, or how's that going to look on my quilt. Well, there's an answer for that.
We thought about everything.
We do what we can. I have what's called preview paper.
Yay!
Yay! We should all be clapping. Okay. That was a fun little round of applause. Thank you guys. I appreciate that.
That was fun.
Good support. All right. So I'm going to roll out my preview paper. Okay. Have a look at that. Can you see it?
Nope.
No. This is the hazard of preview paper. You can't see it. But what they do have on our preview paper is this lovely black line that lets us know that,
hey, this is ending.
hey, that's outside of the paper. If you draw past this point,
you're going to be mad.
you're going to be mad. Hope that's washable. All right. So what you're going to do is one of two things. You're either going to get yourself a wet erase marker. You can find these at any office supply store, or a dry erase. Now, I'm a big fan of the wet erase because if I draw with the dry erase and I accidentally swipe my finger across it,
it erased.
it's gone.
It gone.
It's gone. Whereas if I do it with a wet erase marker, it's going to stay a little bit longer. It's going to be more accommodating to my silly lack of space awareness. So, I have my quilt. I love this quilt. I don't know what to do with this quilt. But I've been practicing my L's and E's. So what do I do? Lay this out. And let's have a look at what we have here in front of us. Well, let's scoot this over because I like this petal right over here. Got this lighter petal here. So if I'm going to be quilting along, I might just ditch around this. Dun, dun, dun. Right?
Yeah.
But then, what am I going to do inside of that? Well, I think what I would end up doing is I would come back around, and I would do some L's, E's. Is that pretty? I don't know. I think it's kind of nifty. I think it's a different little dynamic. Would I go with that? Cool. Yeah, let's do it. Maybe I don't like it. Well, since I did that with a dry erase marker, I can start over. So there is a convenience of having wet erase and dry erase. You just got to figure out which one you want to use. The nice thing about this is once I've doodled out what I want to do, I can keep this plastic as a reference guide.
Yep.
I can roll it all back up. I can scoot it around however I need to. This roll actually usually comes in, I believe it's like a 20-foot roll. It's an absolute large amount of preview paper. So you really can kind of help preview and plan out a project without ever actually taking it and stitching on anything. So you have a much better idea of what you're doing. Okay? So that's preview paper. If you don't have preview paper in your life, I'm going to strongly encourage you to get some. I do have it in store. I have so much in store, which is fantastic.
I love preview paper.
I use this stuff for all kinds of things. It works really well. Okay? Get it. You'll be appreciative of that. All right? So, that's preview paper. But let's say I'm just not real creative. Like, I've tried the doodling, tried the practicing. Doesn't work. What do I do?
You get a stencil.
Stencil! Whoa! All right. So have y'all seen stencils before? Hands? Anybody? Nobody?
I have.
Everybody? You have?
I have.
Have you used one?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. My feelings are hurted.
So this one here is actually known. This is a brand called Full Line Stencil. It's actually a couple layers of vinyl with a very thin, like fine mesh where that cutout is. So you don't actually have like a normal stencil. You kind of have a larger, broader open space with little lines connecting it, so you can kind of lose your pattern where you're at.
We had one of those.
We have plenty of them out there still. I do find that I like these because you get that full line of powder. You don't have broken lines, so you kind of know more where you're going.
That makes sense.
This is a stipple version of a stencil from Full Line. It's got a larger size. Actually, Sadie, if you could overhead me here. You can kind of see the larger version of the stipple here, and then I've got a much smaller version here. It just depends on what you're going to be quilting.
Right.
If you're kind of trying to do a background fill, I would probably maybe focus on using this. If you're going to be trying to do more of an edge-to-edge or something a little bit larger, just kind of coverage, you would use this. What I would actually use this for is, for me, would be more of a starting point to get a feel for what I'm trying to do. And then after this point, try going free motion and just kind of making it happen, see what it does. Because once you have the idea here, it all comes a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But how do we use a stencil? We use a pounce powder. That's this guy right here. So what is quilt pounce? All it is talcum powder inside of a little powder puff. You know what you actually don't do with this?
Pounce it?
Don't pounce it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's generally more of a tap, and then you can see that cloud of dust come flying out of there. Please don't breathe that in. You refill the port up here. This is where you would take that cap off if you run out of pounce powder. This stuff lasts for a really long time. Also, I've heard stories, it was never anything I've done, but if you take a bag of this powder with you through an airport, you may have to answer some questions.
Oh, no.
Again, not me, because frankly, I've got one of those faces that looks just guilty all the time. So it just would have been an awful day for me. So I don't even put myself in that situation. But if you're going out to visit your daughter and you put some stuff in your bag because you're going to work on a project out, don't. Just buy some there, guys.
Yeah.
Much better idea.
Yeah.
All right. So once you have your pounce powder and you have tapped it once to get the powder into the puff itself, we lay that across there. And which one am I going to do? The big one or the small one?
Small one.
Small one. So that's this guy over here. So I'm just going to put that on there, and I'm going to just brush that across. I don't have to pat it across there. Just brush it. What's going to happen is that powder is going to fall through the filter. I'm going to lift this up. You can see that through there. But now I have a guide. Now, what you do not want to do with this, more realistically, don't do your entire quilt all at one time. No. It's still just a powder. So as you move this around, and you brush against it, it starts to fade out because it's just a powder.
Right, yeah.
Once you're done, a nice hot iron makes this all go away.
Yeah.
So, in case you're worried about that, this works out well. I have pounce powder here in white. I have seen it in blue. They do have different shades of it, just depending on what type of fabric you're working with.
I guess if you're working on white fabric, you really don't want white powder because you
aren't going to see it at all. Which is, yeah, real.
That checks out.
So, yeah, this white background out here would not work well for me.
Wouldn't know.
But, again, all kinds of different shapes and styles and designs that you can get on your stencils. So, stencils are super helpful.
They are.
Okay? I'm really yawning on camera.
What
are you doing right now?
They didn't see it. I covered it. You wouldn't even know.
Gracious. Sorry, my goodness.
Sorry.
Okay, so, stencils. They are created by people. You get what they give you. That's not fun. I want to make my own thing. You want to make your own thing?
I prefer.
Okay, so I'm going to show you these. I've got this on order. It has not showed up yet. I'm sad. I was hoping to have it today before the video. It didn't happen. This here giant roll, I guess I could have had you just hand me that.
Could have. That was
Part
an
of the
option.
reach. This is quilting paper. Okay, this is from Golden Threads. This is a tracing paper. This is a giant roll of it. It's 24 inches long.
Wow.
But this is thin, and it's great for tracing.
Paper.
It's kind of like parchment paper. It's a little thinner.
Oh, really?
And definitely I wouldn't put it in the oven, mainly because I don't know. So, but what I did is I took a little stencil that we had that had a star on it. I traced that star, took this to my sewing machine, one of the sewing machines here, and I used a non-threaded needle to just stitch around that star.
Oh.
Okay? So, if I lay this down right here, Sadie goes to an overhead shot for me. I'm going to get up real close to this camera. Hopefully you can see it. You can see the holes in that paper. That's from the needle poking through. Okay? So what we need to know here is that there is on the back side a textured surface where the needle passed through. We want that pointing upwards towards us. Because as we run the pounce across that, it's going to jostle that material through the holes and onto our quilt. So give a little bit of tap to my pounce. Put this on here. Brush that across there. Lift that up.
Star.
Star. The cool thing about the preview paper using this is that you can do the same design over and over again.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest thing for most people to do is to replicate something they've already done.
Yeah.
So you've been practicing your doodling. You're getting good and comfortable at that. You got a good run at it. You've liked what you just did. Put this over what you've traced or what you've drawn out.
Yeah.
Trace it, and then go quilt it. You don't have to be like, okay, I did a great job with that feather. I can't ever replicate that ever again. You can.
Bet you can.
But you can. The other cool thing is, and I didn't bring it in with me, is there's a proportional scale. The scale tells you if you've drawn this out and it's X size, but I need it to be X size, I can take that to a copier and enlarge it by whatever percent it tells me and get whatever size star, feather, circle, whatever I've created, so I can put it consistently across my quilt.
That's awesome.
Who right now is overwhelmed with information? Perfect. Let's see what Carol says. Carol says you can trace design from a coloring book. Yes.
Ooh,
yes,
I
you
never
can,
thought
Carol.
to do that, but that's happening now.
Coloring books have cute little animals in it typically. They have great little flowers. You name it, it's in there, and you absolutely could use those for whatever project you're working for, just to give even more depth of options. So, I mean,
that's really cool. I had never thought to do that.
It is a wonderful idea. So I'm glad you brought that up. What I would say is, if you're doing this for hire, be mindful of licensing. Be careful there. But if it's for you and you're gifting it and you're not getting paid for doing it, go nuts. Right?
Yeah.
Piracy. We don't promote it.
Woo!
Not a pirate.
Nope.
Okay. So, what are we doing here? Dana, doing a great job. Well, thanks, Dana.
Oh, thanks.
I think after 4 years, I think I can do okay.
Yeah. I like to think so also.
I hope that you're getting good information out of it, though. So that's good. I have learned that the comments go quiet when everybody's getting good information.
Right.
Which is what's been happening.
Yeah.
So, that's side tangent. But when you do that, then it seems like nothing's happening with the video and algorithms don't like that. So, throw out some likes, some loves, use a little reacts down there at the bottom. It actually just helps us. Thank you, by the way. Okay,
Appreciate
I was looking for something.
This bag here?
No, I'm not going to get into that. So that is going to be, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Okay.
Just a moment. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about goes back to the drawing on your quilt. So you've gotten comfortable with drawing. You've got a great idea of what you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't want to use pounce powder. You want to draw it on the quilt yourself. Cool. So here we go. What I got is a couple of drawing marking pens. Okay.
Cool.
So there's a couple different things here. So this one, these are from Handy Quilter. They're called the Invisible Cut-Free Invisible Pencil. It's wax. Okay. What I'm going to say here, please hear me out carefully. Used to, you would get these oil pens, grease pens that people would use to draw and mark with. Same principle. You have this paper that you pull down, that take off the wrapped up paper, and now you have your exposed lead, if you will, or grease pen. This is wax. This works really well on darker fabrics to determine what we're going to do. So you're able to draw out. And the neat thing about these, because they're wax, once you're done, hot iron, gone.
Oh.
Just melts away. Okay. So these are great. They sell these in a 4-pack. These are a Handy Quilter item. I can't remember what the actual name is off the top of my head. You come in looking for them, just ask me. I got them in stock. Get you whatever you need.
Yeah.
If you are more of a marker type personality, these guys are great. you have your Mark Be Gone on one side and the disappearing ink on the other.
I love
One
disappearing
is
ink so much.
air dry and one is water soluble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The cool thing about this is that you can see these on your fabric probably a little better because you're going to have purple on one side and the other one's going to give you a more of a blue ink. The hazard is if you do the disappearing ink side and you do your whole quilt, kind of like with the powder, you're going to lose everything if you're not fast enough. So you don't want to mark your whole quilt with this. This is, again, going to be done in smaller scale. I'm going to go over here to the light side here. So let's go there. And let's say I just want to do a ribbon candy across here.
Oh, I love ribbon candy. That's so pretty.
And I would not be doing this across a couple of different layers normally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know how well that shows up. Probably not as well as I'd want it to.
Yeah.
Sorry, purple on purple, not great.
No, we're not really friends.
Not really good friends. But, you know, I can also, again, plan out with that blue on that white, and I know it's going to show up really well. The key to remember when you're drawing anything out, anytime you're doing any of this planning, a lot of the doodling stuff, the key is whatever you're going to design, do it without raising your pen, your marker, whatever you're using. If you have to raise your marker, your device that you're drawing with to continue on, you're going to be cutting your thread in the process.
Which is just annoying.
It's a lot of extra tedious little steps.
Yeah.
And when you're doing that, if you're in the middle of a quilt, that's a tie-off, which means you're going to have to create a knot. You're going to have to bury those threads. You're going to want to make sure that it doesn't come undone. A lot of extra work. So the more time that you spend in planning that continuous line, planning what you're going to do, the better.
Yep.
Okay? Everybody with me so far?
I am with you.
Raise your hand if you're there. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you over there. Carol says, I use adding machine tape to plan borders so I can make the center bigger or smaller to design corner. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've actually seen this one a lot where people use adding machine tape. We had an educator tell us this one not too long. It was a couple years ago. She spoke about it. It seems to be a thing. You can use adding tape because adding tape is, machine tape's like what, 2.5? Pretty consistent, and it's long runs of paper, so it makes it a lot easier to plan. And yes, you can do that. Please do all the things. I have a really cool chair that's making me shorter than you.
That's funny.
It's annoying. One day we'll be professional. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about is one of my more favorite things, but it is definitely not something you start off with, typically. Okay? So, personally, I am a huge fan of rulers.
I, too, personally,
Okay?
am a huge fan.
Why would I use a ruler? Well, because it's going to give you the ability to consistently follow a shape. What is so funny?
It's swag.
It is swag. It is swag.
I forgot that that's what it's called, and it's anyway, it made me giggle.
Easily
Sorry.
amused, I guess.
Yeah, please continue.
So, swag rulers. Anyway, there are so many rulers and shapes and size and varying all sorts of factors out there on the market. Okay? All of them are options, asterisk, depending on the machine that you're using. Okay?
Is that what the asterisk is for?
Yes, that means, hold on, there's notes that you need to read about that.
Got it.
So, if you're using a high shank sewing machine or you're using a long arm, you want to make sure that your rulers have a 1/4 inch thickness to them. Okay?
Yep.
You also then want to use that in conjunction with an appropriate ruler foot. Now, many machines out there on the market today have a ruler foot. It's a little bit thicker sidewall, so that way when your ruler is up against your foot, it's less likely to slip in front of the path of that needle.
Yep.
Needle meets ruler is never good for any machine.
Really bad.
Basically, you're forcing the needle to stop while the machine's trying to say, let's go. This doesn't go well for anything. The needle, the ruler, your machine, all of them get real sad real fast. So don't take chances with rulers or templates with your machine. I mean, that's wrong. I'm fine with you doing it because I get to fix your machine. So that's a repair bill that, I mean, whatever.
I don't usually take chances because then my Dad might not be so happy.
No,
with me.
'cause
Like
she doesn't
me
pay.
personally,
She doesn't pay.
I don't pay.
So, but obviously you can see where I'm coming from with that. I don't want you to take those chances unnecessarily. Be mindful about rulers before you start using them. The one other thing to be very aware of when it comes to ruler work, nothing about rulers is fast. If you're using a ruler and you're like, wow, this is going really quick, stop. Stop.
Don't say that.
Don't say
unless you
that.
got wood nearby to knock on.
Right.
Number one.
Even then, if it's going quickly, you need to really check what you're doing. Because you don't want to be putting yourself in a bad situation. Okay. Yes. So getting there. Yes, Miss Regina. She says that if you're using rulers, if you're using a long arm, which would be a movable machine, if you're using a movable machine, there should be some sort of acrylic base or some sort of base that goes across the bottom of your machine so that there is support for your ruler to sit on. If you don't have one of those and you put a ruler on and it's wobbly, stop. Call your dealer, get a ruler base.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. I got some comments real quick. I do a lot of ruler work on my long arms. Yep, Dolores does a lot of custom work. So yes, if you do a lot of custom work, you are going to be using rulers, and it's a hard lesson to learn. Please take this word of advice to make sure you have your ruler base. Go slow. Also, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I have a grippy material on my ruler back here. What is that, Victoria?
Handy grip.
Handy grip. Handy grip is, go ahead and open that up and take a piece out. It's an adhesive strip that you do not need a whole lot of. You want to pull one of them out of there?
Yep.
Perfect.
Working on it.
Thank you so
There
much.
you go.
All right, I'm going to hold this up to the screen. Go ahead and feel that. Go ahead.
Oh.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
I'm sorry.
She sheds a little bit too.
It can. It is not sandpaper. It actually has more grab than sandpaper does. So a lot of times you'll see little sandpaper dots, things like that. This has way better grip. Because of that, with your rulers that you put it on, you want to make sure you put a little piece of painter's tape over that or put it back in the packaging it came in so it doesn't scratch things up.
Right.
Okay.
For sure.
But it is, I mean, your rulers are not going to move.
They
with
go
on there,
nowhere.
which is lovely. The other thing is you don't need this whole strip for one ruler. And actually, what's on here, that large square, that's a lot. I mean, both of these are a large piece. Like, we needed maybe half of that. It doesn't take a lot. So this one package will do so much for all your rulers, even non-template types like this. Like, if you have a cutting ruler that you really love but has no grip at all,
and it's just
throw one of those
around.
on there. It's going to make your life better.
Yeah, for sure.
It is really, really grippy. I love this stuff.
Wonderful.
So make sure you have the handy grip on there. Make sure you have your ruler foot.
Yep.
And make sure you have your ruler base. Okay? Any
And work in
questions so
small
far?
Sections. And work in small sections.
We're getting there. You
Oh.
get ahead of me.
I'm sorry.
Look, who's running this show? Anyway, I don't know.
Thought it was
Somebody
a team effort.
is. It is. High five.
Go team.
Okay, that was a really loud high five. Sorry, guys. Sadie is mad.
No high fives.
No,
Sorry, Sadie.
no over-exaggerated high fives. How about that?
Sorry about it.
Okay, so what are we going to do with this? Oh, I threw that on the floor. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Sorry. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Let's talk about rulers real quick. All right. I'm going to throw this out here for us because I'm going to doodle a little bit on here. Okay. So I went ahead and put my ruler on here. What I'm going to encourage, and I have some on order. They're coming, I swear. There's these cool little dots. They're little circles that have an opening in the middle of them that mimic the 1/4 inch opening that we have from our sewing machine foot or from our ruler foot. Okay. And what you do is you use that in conjunction with a fine tip type marker, such as a wet erase. And what you do is that it allows you to keep the distance from your ruler, much like you're going to have when you take this to your sewing machine.
Right.
Okay. So, because if I draw this right here, to give myself an idea of what that arc is going to look like, well, that's not the right arc because it's actually going to be a 1/4 inch out from here because of my ruler. Okay. I really thought I would have had them by today. This is why I was talking about this today, but I'm sad I don't have them. So please just bear with me. Know there's a better way to do this, but it's not that much different. The same principle applies that you can use this to kind of prepare yourself to know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to create a circle with this cool ruler, do this, draw my circle, and now I have a circle.
Bum-ba-da-bum.
Ta-da! Which I can then draw and doodle in whatever I will, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like you were saying, the important part of is if I'm using this with my machine, I'm going to have one hand holding my ruler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what machine you're using, you need to make sure somebody's got control of that ruler.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to push down super crazy hard.
Mm-mm.
If you do that, things aren't going to move.
Yeah.
Things don't move, things get jerky, never works well.
Nobody likes jerky.
Nobody likes jerky. I mean, I like beef jerky. So, the key here is that if you were using this in practice, you're going to move your pen. You're actually going to reposition yourself because you're going to make sure that your hand stays out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to stitch. And normally when you would stop, the needle would be in the down position. So that gives you the ability to reposition your hand to finish your arc. Okay? Nice, clean, consistent. We're not going in super long runs. If you have one of those really cool, like 10-inch, 12-inch long rulers of a straight edge, they're great to help you kind of know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
But this ruler, I love this ruler because of this very short distance here. This is my ditch ruler.
Yep.
And it only lets me go so far. Okay. When I'm using my long arm and I'm doing ruler work, I don't want to go any farther than that because my ruler base, if I'm out past my ruler base, this gets wobbly.
Yeah.
Again, scary. That's going to cost somebody some money. So
Bad news bears.
you want to make sure you're watching out for that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay. So rulers, slow, tedious, cool. That's what you should expect. Do not rush it. Rulers have an array of markings in them that help keep things lined up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at this ruler here, you can see right here, that would be the line that I would put on my ditch.
Mm-hmm.
And this one up here, where this kind of comes into this little notch here,
Yep.
if I'm up far enough, that would be on the other side of your ditch. That's going to be right where your needle rides, a 1/4 inch in from there. So you will have that ability to line that up and follow that. So super helpful. If you need to go another 1/4 inch over, say maybe you're going to echo that, you've got this line. That gives you a 1/4 inch. That gives you a 1/2 inch. That gives you a 3/4 inch. Rulers, they're amazing.
They're wonderful.
Amazing. Super helpful. Get you where you want to go. Yeah. And again, there's so many rulers to choose from. I'm not going to tell you what brand or who to use as rulers because they're all a little bit different. I do like Handy Quilters. They don't have a super deep line into rulers.
Right.
They did, and it started getting real muddled and messy. So they kind of like drew back some, cleaned up, went with the more effective ones that they find to be more useful. So that's what I always recommend because that's what I sell.
Because they're wonderful.
They're the best.
Great rulers.
I love Handy Quilter. They're my favorite. Okay, that all said, it's pretty much the gist of what I had for you guys today. I know it was a lot of information. If you need more, there are some really great books out there on free motion quilting. I didn't bring any in here for us today, but if you're going to stop by the shop, ask, and I will definitely point you towards them. There are some ones that they're just great for practicing. They're really going to give you the best ideas, even information on using rulers and what to kind of plan out to do with them.
There is some also where they show you like a design, like I'm sure we're talking about the same book, but and there's 3 in the series. One of them is a ruler. One of them is organic free motion, so more like feathers and leaves and flowers and stuff like that. And one of them is just like I think it's modern free motion is what it says on the book. And a lot of them, they'll give you like a motif, they'll give you an image to work with, and then they'll show you how to do it in a fill, and they give you great step-by-step, like, do a curve, and then a circle, and then whatever, and it's really, really helpful, and it's a great way to start, for sure.
Right. The other option is if you're like a lot of us that have Pro Stitcher, you have robotics. A lot of the times we fall into the trap of, I only use it for edge to edge. Pro Stitcher has a lot of ability to help plan without having to stand at your machine. Because you can put it on your computer and lay stuff out ahead of time, it's a really good way to see things, audition things without having to draw them and know that it's going to be done right, all the other things. So if you don't have Pro Stitcher or you've been interested in seeing that in action, again, come talk to me. I can give you some insight to that. Maybe set you up with that machine if need be. Sales pitch. That happens. But, you know, it's nice being able to plan things. It's really the best and most important thing to do. Take the time, look at your quilt, and remember that you are the one in control of it, and it does not matter. Unless you're going to put it in a major quilt show, which could happen.
But even then, like, it was an artistic design choice.
I decided it needed to be that way. Don't judge me.
Yep.
Which is always fun. Let's see here. Regina says, I find talking while I quilt is very helpful. You know what? I actually understand that way more than I wanted to, but it's real.
Yep.
I do find, though, that whenever I have to be focused, I have to put headphones in. Not because it helps me keep anything straight. It's just because I'm too easily distracted.
Yep.
But I can see talking it out, actually. And again, do whatever makes more sense to your brain to keep things flowing in the right direction. There is no right and wrong. There are no rules in quilting. Shauna Decky is made up. I made her up last year. Best name ever. I totally had Sadie in that video whole time. It was fantastic. I loved it. So
Sadie's never gonna live it down.
Never, ever. So again, I ask that if you guys found this entertaining, you thoroughly enjoy this, again, hit the subscribe button over there on the YouTube. Hit the share button here on the Facebook. Let people know we're out here because, you know, if after 4 years, how much more information do I have?
A lot.
So much.
There's so much.
There's so much information to be had in the quilting world. With that, I'm not sure I've got a whole lot more. You got anything else you want to add?
Nope.
No? Sadie, you good over there?
Good.
She says we're good. At this point, we're going to get out of here. Come see me. I got M17s if you need one. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.